Makeup your move. Hi there, thank you. I packed it, I'm wearing it. By the way, how many of you are staying at the Aloft? It's a hotel that does not realize that people hang clothes. Right? From the luggage carts all the way to the closets. What's the deal there? My sport coats don't fit on that rack. Anyway, how's everybody this afternoon? My name is Tom Brown. I'm the host of this Shenanigan Festival, and I welcome everyone to session 2 of the TCB sessions. In case you haven't figured it out yet, this is the Jungle Room. I love this. People are noticing the plant for the first time. I put a light on it and everything. Please take a lot of pictures and hashtag Jungle Room, because I had to rent that plant. So this doesn't just happen. By the way, we have green carpet. How cool is that? How many of you are attending your very first Nashville Elvis Festival event? Your very first. This is your very first. You're right. You weren't here last year. You're right. Good. I'm glad you kept up with that. How many of you are attending your very first Elvis Festival anything? Do we have any of those? Right, we had a couple. We have some out there? To your right. Out in the darkness to my right? Steve? Oh, right. Welcome. Oh, this is going to change your life tonight. Oh, man. Remember when it was our first time?
Yeah.
At an Elvis Festival? I'm working the lounge. If you are one of the incredibly smart people who bought your VIP package when they went on sale, that gave you tickets to all the events starting tomorrow, and you didn't have to worry about buying individual seats. If you have not gotten your lanyard yet, that's available for you at the merch table as you exit tonight. We have your name, we have your tickets, unless you printed them at home. And if you printed them at home, yeah, I know you left them at home. Yeah. You can go to the box office tomorrow and get those reprinted. You don't have to have your ticket to get in. You have your lanyard, and we're going to have a separate VIP line. That's another perk of the VIP package. You get to go in first. That's right, and get the popcorn and the T-shirts before everybody else. And go get your seat, which is reserved, so there's no rush on that. But we appreciate you buying those VIP packages. And like I said, at the merch table tonight after the show, after you get your cocktail, your beer, your wine, it's beer, wine, and Bill after the show tonight. And Brown. I knew I should have led with that. In case you were wondering, the music you were listening to as you came in tonight, I like to mess with people's minds. The music you were listening to tonight were some of the original versions of the songs that Elvis did in the Jungle Room that you'll be hearing tonight. So you heard people like Bill Anderson covering a song, and Larry Gatlin, who wrote Bitter They Are, Harder They Fall, Slim Whitman yodeling, Jim Reeves, as I came up, the great Jim Reeves was doing one of his versions of He'll Have to Go that Elvis did. And this is a special event for me because I am a child. I know it's hard to realize this, but I am a child of the 70s. Not being born in the 70s, I'm talking I was a kid, like buying records, Elvis records in the 70s. And this Jungle Room, this was the Elvis, this is my Elvis in the 70s that I was buying albums. I call him Superfly Elvis. This is when Elvis had big hair, big sideburns, big cars, purple glasses, gold rings on every finger, gold belts, guns. I mean, just... And that was just on a Tuesday. Going to breakfast, that's what he wore. But, I mentioned the tree. By the way, also, guys, I'm really proud of this one. Of course, the legend in the Jungle Room is that when they moved all the furniture and all the guys set up in the room, they started recording. RCA took a truck, from Nashville to Memphis, and it broke down outside of Jackson, Tennessee, and had to be towed the last 150 miles to the back of Graceland, and they ran the cables. And they started recording, and there was just a noise. There was something they couldn't figure out what it was. They had turned off the waterfall in the Jungle Room. Ronnie Tutt had his back to the waterfall. But there was still this noise, they couldn't figure out what it was, and finally they figured out that no one had turned off the generator for the waterfall. So, in honor of that gentleman, Sonny West, who did not turn off, no, it wasn't Sonny, we have, it's not raining outside, that's our waterfall going. That's our waterfall. Yeah, so please take lots of pictures of the plant and the waterfall. Hashtag Jungle Room. Okay. Elvis did 2 sessions in the Jungle Room. It was the den off the kitchen when he was alive. A journalist named it Jungle Room, and we've kind of taken it on. George Klein still refers to it as the den off the kitchen. So in his honor, I will say this is the Den Off the Kitchen sessions tonight. Elvis did 2 sessions in the Jungle Room in '76, and a lot of great songs came out of those sessions. You kind of, even as a kid in '77, I remember hearing that album when it came out, Moody Blue, and from Elvis Presley Boulevard, and I knew Elvis's mind was somewhere thinking about life. You listen to all those songs, and a lot of the songs he did in the '70s were about what he was going through personally, and you could tell that and you could feel that. And I wanted to have someone come tonight to talk about that aspect of Elvis and what he was going through in the Jungle Room. So I put in a phone call, and I couldn't get 5 people, and 6 on the list was our next gentleman. And I only say this because he can't hear me right now. But there was a gentleman there playing bass on some of the sessions, and he's a good friend of mine. And if you were here last year, you saw him. And I wanted to bring him back this year because he's got even more stories. So I'd like to welcome to the stage, please, bass player, producer extraordinaire from Muscle Shoals, Mr. Norbert Putnam. Norbert. Look at him like, oh, me? Oh, I'm sorry. Norbert Putnam, right here, gentlemen. He always shakes hands with the bass player.
Most important guy in the whole Come on up, Norbert.
Welcome, good to see you. Look, we're going to pretend we haven't met like 5 minutes ago back there. This session at the Jungle Room, an interesting time in Elvis's career, an interesting concept. Home recording was not a thing in the '70s, but Elvis had a cell phone and a briefcase. He had a plane, he had bling, he had a crib, so why not record at home, right? He had everything. So tell me a little bit about what the setup was in the Jungle Room and what your experience was just in getting the session started before Elvis came downstairs.
Okay. Well, it's been a while.
So you can just make it.
I just had my 40th birthday. For the 35th time. No, Elvis, we would bring a remote truck. RCA had this wonderful remote truck. They park it out back. But they would go in and take all the Jungle Room furniture out. Have you been to the Jungle Room? You've seen that? Is that not the ugliest furniture you've ever seen? No, this is a beautiful room. They would hang blankets over all the windows to keep noise out. And it didn't look like the Jungle Room when we arrived. It was pretty ugly. The only thing we recognized was the stone waterfall.
Yeah. We've got one back here. We got a waterfall.
You know? Yeah. They have spared no expense to make this a wonderful evening for all of you.
It's more like a mist.
It's a guy out there holding a garden hose. You know that?
It's a union guy.
But to get back to the story, working with Presley was always a great honor, okay? I wasn't even supposed to be there. I came in to fill in for Jerry Schiff, who had to leave. I was out in California working on a record with Dan Fogelberg, I think. But Felton Jarvis was one of my oldest friends, and whenever Felton called, I tried to go, okay? And so I remember I took Fogelberg to dinner the night before, and I said, Dan, I'm going to have to leave tomorrow. He said, why? I said, there's been a summons from the king. He said, well, you better go. He could have you beheaded. So I flew down there, and you probably read the history of the way those sessions went. Elvis wasn't feeling well. He wasn't in the best shape, okay? And when he came down that first night, I was a little worried about him, okay? He looked as though he really needed rest. And he was wearing one of those jumpsuits, those exercise suits. Tracksuit, yeah, in one of those. And he came over to show me his latest stuff. Hey, Put, I've got to show you this. He had a big silver belt buckle that was given to him by some police academy or something.
And a tracksuit.
And a tracksuit. And well, he had 3 or 4 things he wanted to discuss with me. Elvis, near the end of his life, was looking at a lot of different things. And it was almost as though he had a premonition that he might be going soon, because he was spending a lot of time talking to different evangelists around the country. He was calling them up, and he was looking at astrology and numerology, and he was trying to decide, is this a black art? Is this, And he was talking to me. He said, "Put, how many letters are in your name?" Well, I'd never counted the letters. I'd rather you ask me something about music. Well, we figured out how many letters it was, and he went off to get a book to look. He said he could predict my horoscope if the addition was right, or maybe it was just a draft. But anyway, we spent some time on that, and then he said, I've been trying to cut this song, Morris Albert
Feelings.
Yeah, do you know that song,
Yeah.
Feelings? He'd worked on it with Jerry Shelf and the boys. They had to leave. So that night, we worked on it. And I guess we did it for 2 or 3 hours. And he never got it. The interesting thing was, he could still really sing, okay? Later on, I'm going to play Hurt with the boys. And he kills Hurt. But there were certain songs he just didn't seem to have the grasp on anymore. And so we worked on Morris Albert, and we did Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain, which we sort of rocked out, okay? And then we did Hurt, and suddenly he was tired and sleepy, and he was gone. Didn't see him anymore that night, And I think the sessions were maybe canceled the next day, and I flew out of there. And I didn't have any contact with Presley until, it was a few months before he died. They had been recording his concerts live. And he went over to the piano one night and did that old Righteous Brothers song, Unchained Melody. You remember that? And the vocal was killer. It was just one of the great, you've seen the film of it. And I don't know that was the first night he did it. I think that might have come later. But he sang it beautifully, but he made a mistake in the piano part. He hit the wrong chord. It goes to a 3 flat chord. He missed that, okay. And so I got a call from Felton. I went over to RCA. And Bobby Ogden, this wonderful keyboardist, who also was touring with Presley, he was out in the room, he had the headset on, and he's playing a new piano part as he listens to the rhythm of Elvis's piano part. And Ogden's a pro, he got that in about 15 minutes. And I plugged in my bass, and I don't know, you probably heard that record. You hear the piano chord, and I go up here and I'm playing around. It wasn't any tempo. But I thought he turned out pretty good. 2 months later, I took my kids, flew to Hawaii, and that's when I learned that he had died. And I'd rather not go into that because it's still emotional for me as it is for you. But Tom, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get off subject.
You're on Elvis. That's the subject. We're very honored tonight that he has brought his own personal bass. The bass he used in the 60s and 70s, the banged up bass that looks like it was shot with a shotgun, which it probably was. It's so funny.
It was punished. The bass was punished.
The bass was punished for not playing.
If it played poorly, it was punished.
For the last 2.5 years, one of the longest running exhibit at the Nashville, the Country Music Hall of Fame, was the Nashville Cats, about all the musicians and the session guys from the 60s and 70s. And of course, Norbert was one of those players on the bass, and his iconic bass has been in a glass case for 2.5 years, and you may be getting it back tomorrow, you said.
It's the happiest it's ever been. I'm getting it back.
They wanted to put Norbert in the case for 2.5 years. David Briggs said that he wanted Norbert in the case for 2.5 years. But anyway, we are so happy that you're here tonight, and I wanted Norbert to just tell you a little bit about what it was like at those sessions, and just remember that Elvis had a tracksuit on. I just want to say that. And I want to welcome to the stage next a gentleman to help us kind of fulfill this. First of all, say hello to the EAS band. They will be our house band starting tomorrow at the Franklin Theater. If you don't have your tickets, you better hurry because it is selling out. I love saying that.